So, adverbs go with verbs. Just like a noun and an adjective are best friends, adverbs and verbs are best friends as well. And like an adjective, adverbs can go before or after the verb. It's up to you. You can quickly run, or you can run quickly. In this section of the workbook, we'll be looking at sentences that I give you, identifying the verb and thinking of an adverb that you could use that fits, that describes how that verb is happening. And you can place it either before or after the verb. Look carefully at the sentence and identify the verb. Remember, a verb is a doing word. It's an action. If you can pretend to do it, then it is a verb. Macbeth jumped on his horse. I can pretend to jump. Jump. Therefore, it must be a verb. I can do it. So now I need to think, how am I jumping? Am I jumping athletically? Am I jumping clumsily? Which probably might pertain to me. Adverbs give that all-important detail to how the verb is being done. Anybody can eat. To eat is a verb. I can pretend to do it, so it's a verb. I can eat. How am I eating? I'm eating sloppily, messily, hungrily, greedily, politely, demurely. All these words tell us how that action, how that verb, how that eating is going on. And it's a really important thing to add to our sentences to give them a little bit more depth and interest than something that you might expect from a younger writer or a less skilled writer than what we're working at the moment. Now, you may have heard from some of the examples I've used in this video that a lot of adverbs end in the sound ly. I call them ly words when I'm teaching. It's just a nice way to remember them. Not all adverbs end in ly, but a lot do. So it's useful to remember them that way. I ran quick. No, you didn't. You ran quickly. From a technical point of view, ly is a suffix. That means it goes at the end, and you can put it at the end of adjectives to turn them from adjectives into adverbs. Quick is an adjective. He's quick. Quickly is an adverb. Whatever he's doing it quickly. If your adverb doesn't end in a ly, you might want to check it either using online or using an old-fashioned dictionary, just to make sure that you have written the adverb and not the adjective. So go through the workbook, putting in adverbs that you think suit the action for all the examples I've given. Also make up some of your own examples. What are you doing right now? How is your day going? Is it going slowly? Is it going quickly? Are you doing your work excitedly? Are you doing it frustratedly? Get used to adding adverbs to every verb that you find in your sentences. Together with adjectives and expanded noun phrases, they really do complete a sentence. Another way of adding adverbs into our sentences is by using a fronted adverbial. Now, it's pretty much what it seems. Fronted means it goes at the front, so it's the first part of a sentence you write. Adverbial just means there's more than one word. One word is an adverb. Adverbial, or an adverbial phrase, to give it its proper title, just means it's an adverb with a few other words around it to give it meaning. So for example, I could take the sentence, I shouted. If I wanted to just add a normal adverb, I would go, I shouted angrily. However, if I wanted to change it up and make it a bit different, I could use a fronted adverbial. So instead of using the adverb angrily after the verb at the end of the sentence, I can think about putting it at the front of the sentence. Now, if I just put angrily, I shouted, that is a fronted adverbial. It does make sense and it would work. However, it's not an adverbial phrase. An adverbial phrase needs a few extra words around it. My top tip for you in working with fronted adverbials is to ask yourself one of two questions. How are you doing it, or when are you doing it? Early in the morning, I shouted. After being punched in the nose, I shouted. What's happened that's made you shout? All of a sudden, I shouted angrily. These are all examples of fronted adverbials. It's a little mini phrase that you can put at the start of your sentence to tell you how the verb is happening or when the verb is happening. You're adding an adverb, but you're also adding a little bit more. You're adding even more information. It's a bit of a step up from just a simple ly adverb stuck at the front or end of your verb. It requires a little bit more skill, but if you practice along with this workbook, you'll soon get the hang of using fronted adverbials to give a little bit of excitement to your writing. So remember, ask yourself the question either how is this verb happening or when is this verb happening. You could also expand that to where or why as you get more confident with using fronted adverbials. So when is Macbeth swinging his sword? Well, he's swinging his sword when he sees Macduff coming over the hill. So my sentence would be, when he saw Macduff coming across the field, Macbeth swung his sword violently. That's how you use a fronted adverbial. Follow along in the workbook for examples of how to use adverbs and fronted adverbials. Try a few of your own. A bit like when we used expanded nouns, fronted adverbials need a comma after them. That's to separate them from the rest of the sentence. They're a phrase in and of themselves. It's a piece of description that tells you how, why, or what is happening later on in the sentence. So don't forget to put a comma after that fronted adverbial. All of a sudden, the trees started to move. As quick as a flash, Macbeth drew his sword. Don't worry if you find fronted adverbials tricky. They are to start with. It's quite an advanced form of writing. What you need to remember is just to ask yourself those questions. I call them the 5 W's. We have who is the sentence about? Where is the sentence set? What is happening in the sentence? When is it happening? And why is it happening? If you can ask yourself those questions, whatever that answer is will be your fronted adverbial. Who, seeking to be king, comma, Macbeth drew his sword. Where, across the muddy battlefield, Macduff saw the approaching army. When, just as the sun rose, the trees started to walk across the battlefield. Have fun experimenting with adverbs and fronted adverbials. Follow the sections in your workbook and the extra ideas to get some practice in using these very powerful creative tools that really add a lot of detail and excitement to your sentences.